Hey kids! So here we are for part 3 of the Castles, Caves, and Clones Cuisine Thanksgiving Holiday Edition. I've already shown you how to make a roast chicken and some sides, so if you haven't seen that, go check that out. I'll have the description below, or I'll have the link below. And today we'll be doing dessert. And what is Thanksgiving without some kind of pumpkin pie? Probably not Thanksgiving. However, I am not going to make a pie. I'm going to make a cake that is a pie because it's a cheesecake. I'll be making a pumpkin cheesecake swirl. So there's going to be a little bit of normal cheesecake, then there's a layer of pumpkin cheesecake, and then there's going to be a swirly, desserty thing on top. Very simple. If I can do it, you can do it. So join me on today's episode of Castles, Capes, and Clones Cuisine, Thanksgiving, Part 3, Dessert. Fun fact, I've never made one before, so this will be the first time. So come with me on this journey, shall you? That doesn't even make sense, does it? Shall you? Shall we? Let's go try to make a cheesecake, right? Let's start with what we need. All right, what we're going to need for the crust is some cinnamon, some sugar, 2 sticks of butter, and 3 cups of graham crackers. And for the cheesecake filling, you're going to need some cream cheese, salt, sugar, vanilla extract, 4 eggs, and some sour cream. And then to round out the pumpkin part, some pumpkin puree and some pumpkin pie spice. Now, if you don't have pumpkin pie spice, you can make a blend of cloves, ginger, cinnamon, and nutmeg. So for the crust, the first thing you want to do is melt the 2 sticks of butter and get yourself a half a cup of sugar and 1/4 cup of cinnamon, mix it together, and then pulverize a bunch of graham crackers. Now you can do this in a bag and just kind of whack it with something heavy, but I've got a food processor, so might as well use it, right? So I'm not exactly sure how much 3 cups it is. Guess we'll find out. All right, so we got our 3 cups of graham crackers. I'm gonna add the cinnamon and sugar. Give that a mixy mix. And add your 2 sticks of melted butter. And mix this well. Oh yeah, while you're doing this, preheat your oven to 325 degrees. I want to make sure that butter gets everywhere. All right, let's give that a go. I have a pre-greased springform pan I'm going to put this in. Somehow I don't think I need all this. Well, we'll see. Like, do I need half of this? Some people like just having the thin layer on the bottom. I kind of also like it up the sides. It really depends on how much crust you really want. Like, I like crust, but like in the corners, in the bottom, I kind of like it, try to get it uniform. So I'm going to take this measuring cup and kind of push up the sides. Try to get those corners even. All right. In my notes, I probably have an adjustment because you don't need all this. Cool, I got a lot of cinnamon sugar graham cracker. I guess I'll have to use this and make 2 of these at some point. We'll see. So as you can see, I got it kind of all up the sides, kind of even. So what we're going to do is stick this in the freezer while we make our batter. All right, for the first step of the batter, you want to put the basically 4 bricks of cream cheese in a mixer. If you have just a hand mixer, that's fine. If you try this by hand, God bless you. So you want to whip this, or not whip it, but you want to mix this until it's pretty smooth. It would help if I actually raised the thing. Now it's also important that you do this with room temperature cream cheese and room temperature eggs and room temperature sugar. So you don't want to over mix this, but once you can see that it's kind of nice and creamy, you want to add your eggs one at a time until it's all mixed in. Every so often scrape down the side so that all of it gets in there. Scrape down. We're going to add our sugar. This is 1.5 cups of sugar. 1 tablespoon of vanilla. About 1/2 cup of sour cream. And basically you want to mix this until it's not lumpy. It's about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Eyeballing. I'm going to give it one more scrape. Right, once it's not lumpy, we're good. At this point, you want to save half of it, or separate about half of it, into another bowl. So that's what we're going to do with, that's where we're going to put the pumpkin. Alright, so you have your normal batter, and in this bowl I'm going to do the pumpkin part. So you're going to add 1 cup of pumpkin puree, and also 2 tablespoons of the pumpkin pie spice. And mix it all in. Alright, once it's all mixed together, time to get out the springform pan with the crust. So what I'm going to do is actually put a layer of the pumpkin first. And then a layer of the normal batter. This. With the remaining regular batter, I'm just going to dollop it in there. Not the most elegant, because then what you want to do is take a knife and just kind of swirl. Alright, we got our pumpkin cheesecake swirl going. It's alright looking. We'll see how it turns out. So I'm going to stick this in the oven for 50 minutes. Like I said, it's preheated to 325. Now I prepped the oven by putting a pan on the bottom rack and filled it with water. So it's a water bath. But I'm going to put this on the rack above it, and that should help prevent cracking. During this time period, do not open your oven. Like, do not open your oven at all. Don't open your oven. So we'll see you back here in 50 minutes. All right? Hey kids, Future Rich here actually. So this version of the pumpkin cheesecake, when I made it, didn't turn out as well because I only left it in the oven for 50 minutes. It tasted fine, but it came out underdone. And so this version of the cheesecake, I left in for an hour, turned off the oven, let it sit for another 15 minutes, cracked it open, and then let that sit for an hour. Also, I changed kind of the recipe for the the crust to be a little bit more efficient, because the one I did for this one called for a lot of crust and I had way too much left over. So I'll post that in the description of the video. Also, instead of doing a layer of like pumpkin, then normal, then pumpkin, then swirl, I just did one layer of cheesecake, normal cheesecake, one layer of the pumpkin, and then I put dollops of the regular batter and the swirl pattern with that. Also, I didn't add the sour cream until I split the batter, so that the regular cheesecake had the sour cream and then the pumpkin batter had the pumpkin. So kind of even that out as well. But all the corrections will be made in the description show notes. Hey me, when you're editing this, make notes in the actual video for that part. So you might have saw that already, or we'll see that in the future. I don't know sure how I'm gonna edit this, but so back to me. All right, so it was baking for about 50 minutes, and then I turned off the oven, cracked open the oven door, let it cool down for another hour, and now I'm gonna stick it in the fridge overnight, and then we'll see how this turned out tomorrow. So, see you then. All right, kids, so the cheesecake has been sitting in my fridge overnight, and now let's see how it looks. Oh, first slice didn't come out that clean, but that's normally. But I did manage to put it all onto another plate. But despite that, bottom layer is the normal cheesecake, and the top layer is the pumpkin, and then the swirl on top. I didn't get all the crust in that first slice, but I did manage to put it on a plate, so it's all intact. So the next slice will be perfect. Usually how it goes. Let's see how it tastes. Get some of that crust that I lost. It's pretty good. Definitely get that pumpkin taste of the pumpkin pie spice and the pumpkin puree, but then on the bottom you do get that cheesecakey normal taste too. Pretty good. You know, put some whipped cream on top. It'd be awesome. Now my favorite part of a cheesecake normally is actually the crust. So, I don't know if you can see that, but I like the way the edges turned out. Sometimes when you make cheesecake, the corners can get a little thick. This one's pretty good. So, you know, again, simple ingredients. This takes a little bit of time, a lot of time actually, and some patience. But you can definitely do this at home. You know, this will round out your Thanksgiving. So, yeah. All right, kids, so there we go. This is Thanksgiving Castle Capes and Clones cuisine style. We've got our roast pork / chicken, our mashed potatoes, some roasted vegetables, and for dessert, a pumpkin cheesecake. So let's give it a go, shall we? There it is. Juicy, still moist, pretty good. That's the white meat. Mashed potatoes. For being very basic, still pretty tasty. Again, you can add whatever you want after the potatoes are cooked. Cheese, if you want. Sometimes I do cream cheese, garlic, you can add, things like that. The roasted vegetables. This combo is quintessential. So if this was turkey, this would be perfect Thanksgiving dinner. But you can do this as a normal weekday dinner. Or dinner for Sunday, whatever. It all works. As for the cheesecake, something about pumpkin just tastes like fall holidays, right? If you don't like pumpkin, or pumpkin pie spice, and you whatever, You could omit that and just make a regular cheesecake, and this would be perfect that way too. But as a whole, this is a pretty good Thanksgiving feast. So enjoy. If you like this video, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and join us every Thursday for our Castles, Capes, and Clones podcast. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. You know, stay safe, be kind to each other. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the flip side.